The Republican National Convention was a complete ratings disaster, and Donald Trump's speech was a ratings disaster. 47.37% fewer viewers watched Donald Trump than watched John McCain at the Republican National Convention when McCain spoke. We've got the Nielsen ratings right now, and let's just go through numbers right now, okay? John McCain's audience in 2008, 38.9 million viewers. Trump's audience in 2016, 32.2 million viewers. Donald Trump's audience in 2024, just this past week, only 20 million viewers. That is 47.37% fewer. Why? Because people are sick and tired of Donald Trump. And I know the media wants to push these narratives that this was the biggest and the strongest. It is not. Donald Trump is conning you. And I know he's pissed when these numbers are getting out, but focus on the numbers and stop pushing Donald Trump's narratives. And talking about focusing on the numbers, if you go back to the primaries as well, Donald Trump underperformed basically every single poll taken by the media, and not by like small margins. He underperformed by massive margins. You remember, for example, in the state of Michigan, Trump's 42-point margin in Michigan fell 15 points short of the final 538 poll average. He continued to underperform state after state. In some states, he underperformed by 5% of the polling averages. In some states, he underperformed between 6 and 10% of the polling averages. In some states, he underperformed 10 to 15%. In other states, he underperformed 16 to 20% of the polling averages. And also, you remember all these media polls when there would be referendums about whether to codify Roe v. Wade, and the polls would be saying one thing and then the polls would be wrong by 15 to 20%, where there were actual votes taken and we have actual data and not these media polls that are all over the place. Donald Trump underperforms, the positions to take away women's rights underperform, and democracy overperforms. In the primaries, President Biden consistently overperformed the expectations. State after state, you remember the media would be lined up in different cities and different areas to try to show that there was an exodus away from President Biden. And that never happened. President Biden often exceeded the results from prior primaries he was involved in. 85, 90, in some states he would get 95%. And he exceeded the results state after state. So what are we seeing here? Look, if you watched the speech that Donald Trump gave, where he just used a different tone of voice, not tone in what he was conveying. I mean, he was saying how the Taliban calls him His Excellency and how happy that makes him. He talked about his late great friend Hannibal Lecter, a fictional cannibal that didn't even die in the movie, so I don't even understand the late great part about it. And it's just why you keep talking about Hannibal Lecter. Donald Trump said that he wants to host the next Republican National Convention in Venezuela. He praised the authoritarian leader from Hungary, Viktor Orban. Donald Trump was whining about the results of the 2020 election. Donald Trump called Nancy Pelosi crazy Nancy Pelosi. He talks about buying voters in Wisconsin, while people hold signs up that say mass deportation now. Donald Trump says that there's a migrant invasion, which there is not a migrant invasion. There are more jobs right now available than people seeking those jobs right now. And it's just enough of that. People are done. And I know perhaps President Biden isn't doing the job in like a flashy, braggadocious way. He just sits there and gets the job done. But I think that's what people want when it comes to politics. We're not playing WWE cosplay fascism. And I know for the media, they're like, this is ratings gold. You've got Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt off. It's not even helping your ratings. You are being played as well. Americans don't want to watch Hulk Hogan a washed up old WWE litigious wrestler ripping off his shirt on stage, someone who uses the N-word a ton of times in the past. We played those clips. No one wants to see that, but just watch what the media did. My brother Jordy sent me this clip. He put it together where they're like, oh, Hulk Hogan gave an incredible speech. This was one of the greatest speeches we've seen at the Republican National Convention. It's like, what are you, Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt? What are you talking about? Here, play this clip.
People like Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan gave what I would say is probably the best speech at this convention so far, and there have been speeches that have blown the roof off this place. People who love the conservative politics here, who love MAGA. Hogan came in here, he did something completely different. He also was just entertaining, right? He was funny, he made people laugh, and even if you don't care for the politics here, he might have entertained you.
And as you watch that behavior, I'm not going to play any of the clips of Donald Trump in this video. Forgive me or thank me. I've showed you enough of his clips in other videos. I'll show you President Biden's ad of it, where President Biden shows what's happening. I'm not going to show it. Let me show you John McCain, because this is an individual who got better ratings than Donald Trump by an amount of 47%. And John McCain, who's a Republican, the actual late, great John McCain, acted with dignity because character matters. And he got better ratings by far. Watch what happened, this powerful moment where John McCain was being asked a question at one of his events. And the lady was saying, terrible things about Obama. And he took the mic and said, no, it's not true. Play the clip.
I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
Then compare that to what Donald Trump had previously said about John McCain, who's unquestionably was a war hero. And Donald Trump says, I prefer people who aren't captured. You took deferments and didn't go to war because you lied about having bone spurs. And you refused to go to battle. Now you have the audacity to attack John McCain. Watch what he did. You remember this. Play the clip.
He hit me. He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
Do you agree with that?
It's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. Using silver-infused fabrics inspired by NASA, Miracle Made sheets are thermoregulating and designed to keep you at the perfect temperature all night long, no matter the weather, so you get better sleep every night. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. Miracle sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than the sheets used by some 5-star hotels. Stop sleeping on bacteria. Bacteria can clog your pores, cause breakouts and acne. Sleep clean with Miracle. Go to trymiracle.com/Meidas to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo Meidas, M-E-I-D-A-S at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. Upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle, T-R-Y-M-I-R-A-C-L-E, trymiracle.com/Meidas, and use the code Meidas to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40%. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Meidas to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. So there's no new tone change of Donald Trump. We know what he does. We know who he is. Here he is this week selling $299 Assassination Edition sneakers, 5,000 left, limited edition. He will sign 10 of them. Assassination Edition sneakers? What in the world are you even doing? And no one is covering that other than us and a handful of independent media. Let me show you this. This is an ad that President Biden cut. I thought it was a great ad. And President Biden says, look, for all the talk about Trump's new tone, I thought it served as a good reminder. Don't believe everything you see in the press. Play this clip.
Donald Trump's acceptance speech, his promised message of unity before a primetime.
Crazy Nancy Pelosi, the whole thing, just boom, boom, boom.
He's not going to mention Biden.
Biden's not going to be mentioned. There's no need to mention it.
Biden has done. Biden.
President Trump tore up the speech that he had and said, I need to redo this. It has to have a different tone. I have to lay out the pathway forward, how we unite the country.
And give us your vote. I am trying to buy your vote.
Ripped up his speech to focus more on unity.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
President Trump's speech will be focused on unity.
The United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed.
Here, by the way, is Chris Christie following Donald Trump's poor ratings, Republican National Convention. Here, Chris Christie says, character matters. Donald Trump didn't change any tone. Play this clip.
Yeah. He's 78 years old. And at that age, it is, at least in my human experience, infrequent to find a 78-year-old who changes the core of who they are. And if you needed any further evidence of that, you saw it last night. The people who tried to meet the moment were his staff who wrote that speech. Because when you read just the text of it, it came close to meeting the moment. But more than a third of what he said last night was ad-libbed. And all of the ad-lib was back to what he normally does, which is, this is the grievance against me. This is how horribly I've been treated. Woe is me. But thank God I haven't given up so that I'm still here for all of you. I mean, it's just who he is, and he's not going to change.
And I want to give a hat tip right here to George Conway. I'll be interviewing Conway soon. He started what's called the Anti-Psychopath Pack. Here's what he had to say about Donald Trump as part of the Anti-Psychopath Pack. Play it.
Donald Trump has never, ever been right in the head.
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man. An anonymous, really an anonymous. We got up! And then they announced there was no buys, no. We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel. Take a look at the oranges of the investigation. Venezuela, if you have a windmill anywhere near your house, they say the noise causes cancer. I know more about wind than you do. I don't know what I said. Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. They have voter ID. They have ID on everything. You buy a loaf of bread, you have ID. The first non-incumbent. The kidney has a very special place in the heart. We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times, as opposed to one injection inside or almost a cleaner. That an illegal one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water.
Learn more at psychopack.org.
And finally, let me show you this former Republican voter right here, who's not voting for Trump. And he said, look, how do I look my wife, my daughter, and my granddaughters in the eyes with this sexual assaulter, Donald Trump? How do I look them in the eyes? Here, play the clip.
I will continue to have policy differences with Democrats, but that is trivial compared to the threats that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement present to this nation. My name is Chris, and I'm from Missouri. I voted for Donald Trump in 2016. I do not plan on voting for Donald Trump in 2024. The number one reason why is I'm a 20-year Army veteran, active duty, and there's absolutely no way that I can support a man who, while he was commander-in-chief, said that American servicemen that gave their lives for this country are suckers, and that POWs and pilots who were shot down are losers. Number two, how can I look at my wife, my daughters, my granddaughters, and tell them that Donald Trump is a man that you should respect as president, even though he's been found guilty of sexual assault? And his refusal to accept that he lost his last election attempt is unforgivable. He lost the election, fair and square. Now, I am still a Reagan Republican and a constitutional conservative. I will continue to have policy differences with Democrats, but that is trivial compared to the threats that Donald Trump and the MAGA movement present to this nation. And I will be on the right side of history. I will not have to hang my head in shame when my grandchildren ask me what I did at this pivotal moment in our nation's history.
So look, folks, the media thinks they're chasing ratings. They're not. You're chasing fascism that you're going to throw on the rest of us. It's why we're all taking this very seriously and why we're all pissed off. We don't want WWE cosplay fascism in our politics. We want to talk about jobs and wages and healthcare and social security. We want to know how our freedoms are going to be protected. We want to know stuff like that. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 3 million together. Thanks for watching.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.